This video will look into some of the issues facing Go First Airways. Now, the airline has squarely placed the blame on Pratt Whitney and the grounding of their aircraft thanks to the failure rate of the Pratt Whitney Geared Turbofan 1100G engines that a majority of Go First fleet of A320neos, that is the A320-271N, that uses the Geared Turbofan has faced. Any airline that has half their fleet grounded has a problem. Go First was one of the first operators of the A320neo with the Geared Turbofan engine, along with Indigo. They weren't the very first was Lufthansa actually. And in the very early days of the Geared Turbofan, there were some compressor stalls that affected both Go First and Indigo. These became news back then. And it turned out that the Geared Turbofan wasn't doing very, very well in hot, dirty and dusty conditions. Now, Pratt & Whitney has to take some of the blame for this. While the Geared Turbofan was a very innovative design, it uses a gearbox to change the rotational speed of the fan blades compared to the compressor turbines inside the engine core. And because this made the fan blade up front, what you see in an engine, more efficient. But the sealing between the fan blades did not do very well. It has turned out that the Geared Turbofan has faced issues with other airlines as well, with other aircraft as well. The Embraer E2 jets have had issues. KLM just came out with a statement saying half their fleet of Embraer E2 regional jets has been grounded. Iraqi Airways just grounded their entire fleet of A220s. Egypt Air has had problems with their A220s. But the issue is KLM and Air Baltic out in Latvia, they don't operate in hot, dirty and dusty climates. They've also grounded their fleets, a large part of their fleets of aircraft that use Geared Turbofan engines, as has Air New Zealand and Hawaiian Air. So it's not just the fact that these engines are being affected in dirty, hot climates. And there's no reason for this to happen. I mean, did Pratt & Whitney not test their engines? But that said, Go Air has fundamental issues. Indigo managed to change their order of A320neos from the Pratt & Whitney Geared Turbofan to the CFM LEAP. And Go Air actually operated CFM engine CEO A320 aircraft and switched to the Geared Turbofan, which was a big win for Pratt & Whitney back in the day. But the issues are serious. That said, I want to come back to the point. You should not blame the engine issues alone for Go Air's problems. They've had some fundamental issues with management. There have been issues with the promoters and management as well over the years. They haven't grown as fast. And if you had good airline management in place, you would have gotten spare aircraft. You would have gotten old A320 CEO aircraft to replace some of the grounded aircraft, as Indigo has done. Indigo also signed better contracts, so they were able to change their Geared Turbofan engines to the CFM LEAP 1A engines on the second part of the A320 and A321neo order. Go Air's IPO filing failed because they were heavily in debt. And it's not fair to just blame Pratt & Whitney for their problems, in my opinion. Do I agree with what the National Company Law Tribunal has done by putting a moratorium? Well, at a level, it's fair. I believe Pratt & Whitney should pay some fines over here, but the leasing companies have done nothing wrong. Now, should you pay the lease rental on an aircraft when it's not functional because of no fault of yours? There has to be some negotiation here, but it's like your car, right? If your car goes wrong, it doesn't mean you stop paying the EMIs on your car. And that's the truth. And I also fail to understand Pratt & Whitney blaming hot, dirty and dusty conditions, because an aircraft doesn't just have one life, it has multiple lives. It goes from one airline to another. So there is that. Fact is, over the years, I've taken over 500 domestic flights in the last 10 years, give or take COVID. And I've only really flown on Go First twice. Once on a flight from Delhi to Goa and a flight from Pune to Delhi. I've actually flown SpiceJet more than I've flown Go Air because they're not remarkable. I mean, you usually end up choosing a full service carrier like Air India or Vistara. I choose Vistara most of the time because of my frequent flyer status. And you only choose Go Air because, they're the best flight. At the time I came back from Pune, they were the last flight of the day. It was the 8 o'clock departure, became a 8:45 departure, delayed by 45 minutes. Totally unremarkable flight. I mean, just like the average Indigo flight for that matter, other than a very nice approach into Delhi on runway 27. And right now, I don't know, even the NCLT moratorium, how much can happen. I'm sure the leasing companies will go to the National Company Appellate Tribunal, the NCLAT, and this will go up to the Supreme Court because they want their aircraft back. You have to be paying the rentals even if you've got a moratorium from the aircraft being seized from you. And you can't just take a lien on third-party assets. So there is that. So it's not going to be easy for them. Most of the pilots have quit. They had some 650 pilots at the start of this process, and 200 of them have already joined Air India. For the future, Air India is getting 210 Airbus A320neo family aircraft for both Air India and Vistara. So they need the pilots. As a result, the Air India Pilots Union has quietened down as well. Go Air owned a lot of valuable slots in Delhi, Mumbai, and some other airports. I don't know if Go Air will survive. Very honestly, if you have money due to you from Go Airways, either as an employee or as a passenger, well, I don't know if it's going to happen. That's my personal thought over here. I lost lots of miles on Jet Airways and Kingfisher's failures, but that's me. That's just miles. I didn't lose money. Miles are valuable though. And if you book tickets on a credit card, you can do a chargeback. If the airline owes you money, fingers crossed, you can get your money back because you're an employee. But as we're seeing with the jet insolvency, that's not going to be easy as well. Insolvencies aren't easy. I think Go Air is being a bit confident. Their CEO is being very confident. They expect money from Pratt Whitney. What next in this process? The insolvency process in the NCLT isn't easy. Go Air has already cancelled all flights till the end of May 2023. Again, I don't wish failure upon anybody. I hope the airline can get running. I hope this happens under either new management, if we can find some investor from abroad to buy them, or even a domestic airline to buy out their slots, monetize something. But the airline doesn't own the slots, as the Jet Airways insolvency has taught us. The airports own the slots, the airlines do not own the slots. Go Air actually doesn't have too much in assets also because the leasing companies own virtually all their aircraft. And if one leasing company succeeds in the NCLAT, I genuinely don't think the others are going to wait. This is going to go through the legal process in India, and the legal process in India is not an easy one. You wouldn't wish the legal process in India upon anybody. That's the worst thing you can wish on anybody, the legal process in India. So yeah, these are my thoughts on the Go Air insolvency. Thank you so much for watching. If you do like this video, do press the thumbs up button. Do subscribe for more aviation and car videos on #Kushan Drives and my trip reports as well. Thank you so much.